Imagine you're just playing Minecraft, when suddenly everything you're used to about the game is completely changed. It'd probably take a while to adjust, right? But I'm trying to speedrun Minecraft in under 1 hour. If I die, a part of my physical setup is removed or completely changed. If I can't beat the Ender Dragon before the time is up, I lose. You see, 2 months ago I speedran the game for my first time, in the end taking an embarrassingly slow 3.5 hours. I wanted to shatter this record once and for all. Any time lost could cost me in the end, and any deaths would be very problematic later on. From the moment I spawned in, I knew this challenge wasn't going to be easy. Movement and game sense isn't exactly my strong suit. Game knowledge, on the other hand, was where I had the advantage to beat this challenge. It helped spawning next to a village, where I quickly geared up by getting food and other resources. As I was packing up, I noticed a second village in the distance. After looting it too, I had wasted minimal amounts of time. My next step was to find a lava pool to enter the Nether. This is where I had lost a lot of time in my last run, so I knew I needed to find one fast. This is where my game knowledge I mentioned earlier came in. Since lava pools spawn more frequently in warm biomes, such as savannas or deserts, I could stay in those biomes to find the lava faster. I also knew that they give off light, and are way easier to see at nighttime, so I continued to explore the savannah. Rune portal. Not I'm actually like fumbling all my keybinds now. What am I doing? I can't comprehend that I just got that. You know what? No, nighttime might be good. I can like find lava pools faster. As I say it, there's just one right here. This is either gonna go really good or really bad. No, I'm just gonna do the noob portal. Everything was going perfectly. However, I needed more luck for the Nether, which was by far my biggest time loss on my last run. I spent hours wandering through the Nether in search of a bastion and fortress, but couldn't find anything for ages. I kept this in mind as I continued to build my portal, hoping everything would be in my favor. That could have been a lot worse. 45 minutes left. Please give me a good spawn. Now that I was in the Nether, I immediately began searching for a bastion and fortress. But first, I had to blow up 1,700 TNT, since I set out to explode 100 TNT for every subscriber that my last video got. I placed all the TNT by hand and finally blew it up. I'm also deciding to run back the offer for this video too, so subscribe to claim your 100 TNT. While exploring, I also bartered with piglins along the way. I couldn't get any pearls, so I hope to find a bastion later on. At the moment, something else had my attention. Fortress? Yes. Bastion would have been nice so I can get fire res. There's a spawner at least. I would have preferred to go to a bastion first, so I could get fire resistance potions from the piglin trades. This would help me fight the blazes easier, but for now I just had to play more careful and not burn to death. Half of my remaining health randomly disappeared, and I was left on fire and only on 3 hearts. Although I survived, another blaze was waiting to finish me off. No. Looking back, I probably should have eaten my notch apple for the fire resistance effect, but at the time I was saving it for the end fight. Now that I was dead, I faced my first punishment, losing my monitor. Well, kind of. I had to play the game watching my OBS recording, which was significantly smaller and was overall really unfamiliar. I also wasn't used to it at all, but those were the consequences I had to live with. After sending myself back to the fortress, I continued with the challenge. If I died again, the punishments would only get worse. If I die again though, I do lose my mouse. After getting all of the blaze rods I needed, I headed off to explore for a bastion. I continued to trade with the piglins by mining nether gold, and also got a fire resistance potion, but I still needed pearls. Fire res, that would have been useful earlier. Like a half chicken jockey. Bridging feels so sketchy with this. I was shot off the cliff, barely surviving the fall, so I decided to dig my way back to the surface, also giving me time to regenerate some health. You're serious? That is so unlucky. I guess I get my monitor back now. In a super unlucky turn of events, I dug into literally the only lava pocket in the area. With no time to react, I was already dead. Fortunately, I got my main monitor back, but now I had to use only my mouse. My keyboard was useless. It turns out I didn't have enough buttons on my mouse for this. I really didn't think that far ahead. So my mouse controls walking, jumping, and everything it normally would, and my keyboard keeps the A and D keys to strafe and S to walk backwards. This might seem like an advantage by keeping part of my keyboard, but it was genuinely harder to keep track of what both hands had to do rather than only using a mouse. Now that I was practically rendered useless, I had to somehow not only get the Eyes of Ender to find the stronghold, but I also had to kill the dragon. Another thing that I haven't mentioned until now is that if I die a third and final time, I lose the challenge. So I set out to keep exploring and mining gold. That's when I found the next thing I needed to beat this challenge, a bastion. I have got to play this so insanely carefully. I felt it was too risky to enter the bastion immediately, even if I had my normal setup. So I traded with some piglins on the outskirts to hopefully get enough pearls. I barely escaped the piglin, since everything about my game was completely foreign for the first time in forever. And since I was left out to dry, only one tiny mistake could completely end the challenge. No. Oh well, that sucks. After the death, I briefly decided to keep trying to beat the game with my normal keybinds, but a quick look at my timer told me that I only had 11.5 minutes remaining. Knowing that I had no chance to kill the dragon at this point, and that I had already lost from my third death, I decided to end the challenge. And that's just how it goes sometimes. After looking around in spectator mode, the bastion was entirely buried anyway, and the stronghold was over 2,000 blocks away. Some challenges just don't end the way we want them to, but they're fun because they put us out of our comfort zone. Plus, I still need to crush my previous run. Consider subscribing, and thanks for watching.